My name is Michael McCambridge, as you know, and today you're going to learn why you need to change your oil. This is my own picture that I took of a clean motor with constant interval oil changes. As you can see, it's really clean. There's no sludge buildup. And in this picture, you can see that there's just dried sludge oil everywhere, probably never maintained. The oil's probably never been changed ever. This is a preview of what you're going to learn today. You're going to learn what oil actually is, what an engine is, what conventional oil is, and the difference between it and synthetic, and why you should change it religiously. Here we see two types of oil. I chose the same brand because of their labels of miles protection. For the conventional oil, you immediately see that it says 5,000 miles of protection, compared to our synthetic, which is 15,000 miles of guaranteed protection. And you have to assume that the same company would not guarantee one of their products to the other, that they don't, unless there was actually a difference. Now, what is oil? Oil is a lubricant, and an engine needs lubricant. Basically what an engine is it's a bunch of friction, like your hands rubbing together. Now, what oil is basically like if you took hand lotion and put it on your hands. You'd be able to do it, and it wouldn't hurt. Now, an engine can't tell you, hey, this is burning, because it's an engine. So what happens is, it's just going to pull apart, blow up. Now you're going to see how an engine actually works. As you can see here, everything in this moving picture is metal on metal. There's just metal on metal everywhere. And you see that there's explosions of heat and gas. It's an air pump, basically, of all metal parts. Now, if you don't have a lubricant in there, you're just basically looking for it to blow up, because it will not be able to hold all that heat and pressure together without anything, with a buffer zone in between it. Now, conventional oil versus synthetic oil. Here we have a very good depiction of synthetic oil versus conventional oil. Synthetic oil is refined and it's distilled. Basically, it was put through a strainer so that all shapes and sizes would be equal. Now, for our conventional oil, we have just the regular shapes and sizes of basic petroleum oil. It hasn't been refined, it hasn't been put through a strainer, it's just base oils with additives in it. And when you have base oil that hasn't been refined, you get all different shapes and sizes. Now, this comes into play because, as I said before, your engine is metal on metal. And everything in a motor is on very specific clearances and tolerances. So your metal is probably like thousandths of an inch close to each other. So these tiny little fractions of a difference, shapes and sizes, will mean a lot. Because here you see this is in a downward angle right here. When you're looking at a downward angle of metal on metal being pushed together, this is going to get worn while this is not. And then it'll eventually, because oil is moving throughout the engine, we'll get, different angles of wear on it. Here we have the synthetic oil, where everything is the same shape. So that metal that is on top of its counterpart will be completely equally placed apart. This allows for a lot smoother transition of oil. This will keep pumping in and keeping the metal perfectly even apart, so it will never shape shift. Now this comes a lot into play because your motor is moving at thousands of revolutions per minute, and you're looking at metal transferring weight. And if it's transferring weight on this synthetic oil, you will have an even wear pattern. This right here, you'll see it will not wear evenly and it will eventually break apart. Why you should change your oil? All oils break down. You could only rub hand lotion on your hands before it would eventually rub into your hands. Same kind of thing with oil. The oil can only take so much heat and pressure because of the amount of pressure that a motor is putting on the oil every time you use it. Now you're also accounting for the heat, that an engine has a lot of heat putting into that metal, and the oil has to take away that heat and move it, circulate through the motor. It can only do this so long before its chemical structure will start to break apart and the bonds between it will change and it will no longer be effective. And basically no material would be able to sustain this for that long because heat and pressure break everything down. Thank you for listening to my slide. Here we see an engine oil that has been regularly serviced with engine oil for 120,000 miles. We see the same engine that has never had its oil changed at 78,000 miles. You can see the buildup of engine oil throughout the motor compared to its counterpart because of the heat and pressure changing its properties. Review slide of what you've learned. We've learned what oil is. Oil is a lubricant. We've learned what an engine is. Metal on metal, pumping air, movement, heat and pressure. We've learned what conventional oil is. It's just a base petroleum oil that is not refined and it's just put with additives into your motor. We've learned what synthetic oil is. Synthetic oil is a highly refined, distilled, same substance, but with better additives and better engineering. And we've also learned why you should change it religiously. We've seen multiple pictures of why you do not want to leave the same motor oil in your car, because that will happen. And that is not a random act of oil. That will happen to any engine.